Come on, David, you can do it. There you go. There you go, man.
We got it.
You figured it out. There's Natalie. She was wondering if we were going to pull this off. There you go, dude. So here's the beautiful thing. So this isn't just for us and the people watching it. This will be seen, I don't know, several hundred times today. But I'll load it on YouTube, and this is how you should be conducting these kind of meetings, because then you can decide if you want to post them up or not, or, you know, like when you're talking to people. But let's talk about what's been happening with your business, because we've been guiding and advising you on strategy. We've been platforming your business, and we've been working with you. And a lot of business owners right now are really struggling with the concept of how to still grow and scale their business and prepare themselves for the future. Let's talk about what you've been learning from 10X owner and 10X employee that you applied, and then let's talk about what's happening in the business.
Yeah, so on the 10X employer and the 10X employee, I mean, the main thing that I would say that has been the biggest benefit so far is we've gotten everybody on the same page and aligned in the practice. And so just the power of that and the synergy of the team working together. We've gotten a little leaner and meaner with this whole coronavirus situation. And so there's less employees. And what's happened as a result of everybody being on the same page is we're just booming. And, you know, we had our highest ever cash sales last week at over $108,000 in cash. Not to mention our normal insurance collection.
And your insurance billing is almost double. You had almost a $200,000 week last week.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's huge. And, you know, I mean, we have to keep it going. It's kind of a new, you know, we have a different problem than I think a lot of people are having. We actually have had so many new patients in the last 3 weeks and so much new patient flow this week on the books. We're trying to figure out actually how to keep up with all of it.
New problems. You go from the problems. So let's walk through this, because I'm pushing out my new book. The Business Emergency Response is coming out in the PDF version. I think we're dropping it next week. And for people watching this, you got to understand, like, every piece of advice that we give is in that book on exactly how to react to the marketplace. And you went into that mode. You were like, okay, first thing you got to do is you got to evaluate who's on the bus, who's not on the bus. Yep. Second thing you got to do is you got to go through and you got to make the hard choices of trimming the fat, because you don't have room for mistakes here. Yep. Third thing you had to do is get your mind right, that even though you're walking into a crisis, you've encountered the emergency, all this resistance that you're feeling emotionally, you have to disconnect from the emotional feeling and actually pivot to being neutral, so that you don't lose vision, don't lose sight of what the opportunities can be. So once you do that, then you and your team choreographing your steps through 10X owner, 10X employee, and making sure you're all looking at the same data, operating on the same belief structure, and fighting every day to win and survive, even though you had to get rid of people and the emotion was running hot with people and everyone's scared and all this stuff. As a business owner, you need to seize control of people's thinking. You need to choreograph everybody's doing, and then you need to pick a target that you can move to. Now, you followed those steps exactly, right?
Yep, absolutely. And as a result, I mean, we're like I said, we're at a new level of expansion. And I've actually, and part of the reason that we were going to be on the call at all today is I've got people kind of knocking down my door, trying to be a part of our business and trying to give me a piece of their business. And that was unexpected, especially in the middle of all this. So there's a lot of growth opportunities that are right here, right now. And I think that, you know, I think my first contraction, like everybody else, I was scared going into this thing, and didn't know what was going to happen with the business. And I immediately, for whatever reason, I immediately switched. And maybe it's because I've been on the 10X owner platforming, all of that. You know, I just got the idea. I'm like, okay, well, everybody's going to be at home. Everybody's going to be watching TV. They're all going to be watching the news. I'm going to launch a TV campaign. And that has been huge. And it's been so big that I mean, last week, which is a new problem again, and it's a problem, but we didn't catch up with all the leads that came in Monday until Wednesday night. I mean,
Wow, dude. You know what Grant Cardone talks about? David's got an alternative health, chiropractic / alternative medicine, stem cells, stuff like that, right, David?
Yep, absolutely.
So this is what Grant talks about. This is what I talk about. So here's the thing. When Grant talks about spending money in advertising, he says you don't do it to get new customers. You do it for yourself. You do it so that you can see that you're real. Then you do it for your employees. So your employees feel like, hey, that I just saw where I work. This is the real deal. Then you do it for your competitors to say, hey, I'm on it, man. And then you do it for getting new customers. Now, what you just described is the waterfall effect of having that courage. And because you're platforming and you're able to talk about where do I put my money, what, and then because you're on 10X Owner Employee, you can sit down with your employees and say, I'm going to step up and make this investment. I need you all on point. Like you can't just live in this world of, oh, things are going to go, like we got to be on point. We got to answer the phone perfectly. We got to schedule the appointments perfectly. We got to be able to overcome objections perfectly. So because you guys are on point, all of a sudden now you got a whole new issue. Your issue isn't fear and anxiety and stress and eliminating people and shutting things down. You're went the exact opposite direction, which is in my book. You've created a vacuum for people. All of a sudden your competition saying this dude's got real shit going on, and like we got to partner with him because, well, we're scared and contracting or afraid the world's going to come to an end. He's obviously leaning in, stepping in. He's brave. He's got things happening, or he wouldn't be visible in advertising. The whole belief structure around what you're doing is creating a vacuum to where your competitors, your patients, everybody, your employees, your belief is now skyrocketing. And now you have new problems.
Absolutely. And in fact, I was just out. I just stepped out of the office to grab a coffee for a second, and I was just kind of cruising my competition in the area. A lot of them, and this isn't because of a regulation thing, they're closed down. The orthopedic,
because they're happy. They get I get to go home because they tell me I can't work. That shows a lot of a commitment to the business, doesn't it?
Well, and a lot of commitment to the patients. I mean, the whole point of what we do is to keep people out of the hospital and to keep people off drugs and out of that situation where if they go into the hospital, they're at a much higher risk of contracting this whole virus. You know, so I don't even understand it, but a lot of them are shut down. And I think that's been a big reason also why my marketing's penetrated at a higher level now than maybe it would have at a different time. So.
Yeah, that's what being bold, brave, and strategic. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much confidence would you have had going into and making some of these decisions if you hadn't been platforming, if you weren't taking the 10X Owner, 10X Employee, choreographing every step, if you didn't have someone you could pick up the phone and say, I'm scared, what's the exact process I go through, and then do the things that you need to do? What like the speed in which you can move right now and the confidence you have to make decisions versus maybe what it would have been like if this happened last year. How would you rank that on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, it's completely different. I mean, last year, there's no chance I would have done it. If this whole same situation would have happened 12 months ago or before I was involved with the platforming and with the 10X Employee, 10X Owner, there's no chance that I would have taken that risk. It was a total gamble. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was scared when I did it this time, but it was a calculated risk. And
100%.
So, and it paid off. And I think that, you know, so we've definitely re-upped that particular campaign going forward. And, you know, now we're just going to strengthen it and keep it going and smooth the process. And I'm in a situation now, I just had to post a bunch of job ads this morning to get some new employees in. So I think, you know, the whole goal here is we're gonna grab some market share.
And you know what business owners don't understand is now you get to reset the whole thing because the core team you have that you kept is bought in. And now they're seeing all this happening, all this positive energy. So now they're building trust and confidence in you as the leader. The third thing is when you hire new employees in, their level of intensity and expectation from your whole team is going to be much higher than the people that you had to get rid of. where everything was just working and everybody was happy and everything was just, you know, whatever, people could do whatever. And so the whole expectation and intensity and commitment to the business and how you hire and how you onboard, because now you've got massive action. So you can't just say, yeah, come on in, we'll work with you and you figure it out. It's like, here's what I need you to do. I need you to hit every one of these leads, follow up, find out what they're responding to, get them in the books, you know, blah, 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 handle every objection. Like, you know, just get everyone in that rhythm of cranking Cardone U, training, overcoming objections, all these things, and choreographing every single step of the way. And your business will actually grow by probably 3 to 5x over the next 3 to 5 years. While those competitors you're driving around and they're locked up, they were operating in mediocrity, taking whatever they could get anyway. So you're just going to smash and dominate, because you'll be remembered for the guy that when everyone else contracted, you went through explosive growth. And you get to carry that story. That's the Michael Jordan story. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight on 10X Owners Live, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, is the increments between people who have the skill set, they just don't have the heart. And I think what you're demonstrating here is that in your market, in your space, you've got the heart. You're willing to push and make great decisions, have the courage to do it. And now what's happening is all these new things that are coming to you that you wouldn't even have thought about 6 months ago are happening because you made a choice in your mind, just like Jordan and those guys made a choice to dominate and take no prisoners. That's what you've decided to do in your market. And for people who are watching this, it just simply takes a choice. Then you need to have the right mentors. You need to listen. You don't need to create everything. That's the thing, especially with doctors. They think they need to do everything themselves. The idea is you need to just follow great leaders and execute and build confidence with yourself, then your team, then in the marketplace, and then you'll saturate and dominate it. So, hey, I know we have a different thing we need to talk about, so I'm going to call you, but I just wanted everybody to hear what was the biggest revenue month you'd ever had in the history of your company?
I think the biggest revenue month was about 250 that we did it was either January or February. And so this last month, I mean, we just smashed that. And we're on pace to do it again. So
yeah, well, I mean, you did 200,000 in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I just want to make sure everyone understands here. Your biggest revenue month was 250, and you did 200K last week, and you're booked out for the next 2 weeks. Dude, you could start hitting $500,000, $800,000 a month at your current run rate. Isn't it insane? All of a sudden, you have a $3 million business that overnight is a $10 million business, and you got people sitting at home licking their wounds. You got competitors who aren't even in business. Why would I spend any money? Why would I talk to my employees? Everybody's home. Everything's safe. I'm so scared. Why would I worry about my patients? What am I going to do with my bills? And here you are going from $250,000 a month to doing $210,000 in a week.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm trying to take their patients right now. So this is
we're going to crush it, dude. So I know what this other thing we're going to talk about, and what I want everybody to hear when they listen to this. If you do it right, not only will you win in the business, but you'll magnetize, law of magnetism. You'll magnetize your competitors. They'll all come to you. So many people are saying, I'm going to build a franchise company, and they haven't done shit. And then a guy like you goes and crushes it. You know what? You figure out the operational effectiveness, scaling in the right kind of employees, growing this thing from 2.5 million to 10 million in the next 18 months. Now you got something to franchise. Now you got systems, you got process, you got protocols, you got a way to onboard your team. You've got your messaging, you've got your lead gen, you got your lead gen conversion, you got all that, your training. Like, now you got something to talk about. So many people want to pretend that they're going to go do something, but the fact is they don't have anything they're doing now. What I love about you, dude, is you are just all in crushing it. And that's why every week when I get a ping from somebody who says, hey, you got a question, you want to talk, I'm on it because you're serious about what you're doing. And I can't wait to have this next conversation about regional domination. How about we create a $50 million business in the next 3 years?
I like it. Awesome, man.
All right, brother, let's hang up off this and I'll call you on your cell.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, bye.
All right, see you.